Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm gonna be doing Rising Leo on the Ascendant. And this is one of those videos that I was really nervous about doing because anytime I'm gonna talk about Leo, I'm just like, no, I have to dress up. But then I was like, Denise, Leo doesn't care what you look like. They only care what they look like. So I was just like, okay. I tried my best, Leo. I tried my best for you. So let's get right into it. First, I'm gonna give you some characteristics of the Leo Ascendant. Then I'm gonna go into the Descendant and what that means for your relationships, Leo. And lastly, I'm gonna give you a chart example of what Rising Leo could look like in the real world. And it is a really cool celebrity who I really admire and who inspires me. And I think that he really embodies that Leo rising spirit that makes you guys so wonderful. So let's get into it. So Leo rising is ruled by the sun. So that makes the sun your chart ruler, and it gives kind of a sunny glow to your entire chart. And I like to think of the Ascendant as the kind of spacesuit that you came into the world with, that your family or whoever it was that was raising you as a child, all the things that they sewed onto your spacesuit are the things that you were gonna need when you stepped into this new atmosphere, which is the world, your life, Leo. So all the things that you left behind in the 12th house, they don't come with you because for whatever reason, your family or your environment told you like, hey, you don't need those things, leave them behind in the 12th house. And this Ascendant was especially crafted just for you so that you could survive in this environment and not only survive but thrive and get the most out of your life. So what are the things that you left behind in the 12th house? So for Leo, Leo's leaving behind Cancer. So you're leaving behind shyness, maybe being more introverted, you're leaving gentleness behind. Leo is really here to be out there, to be seen and to be bold. So kind of very different from Cancer. Leo, whereas Cancer is more gentle and a little bit meek and waits for somebody else to approach, Leo is bold and in your face. Leo's just like, I'm here and I'm gonna express myself. That is a very Leo trait. What is your personality like, Leo? Your personality is friendly, you're very friendly, you're really like a sun that just glows and people really look at you and they are warmed by your presence because you're so jovial. I really think that about Leo rising people. They attract a lot of attention for that reason. They're always smiling and they look happy because they like to make other people happy, kind of like the sun, and people appreciate that in them and they like to be appreciated. So it's like a mutual benefit sort of thing. They're also very loving and affectionate towards others. Leo people just like to love on others because again, Leo the sun, they like to be appreciated, and one way to get appreciated is by being very loving and generous with others, which they really are. They're also very happy-go-lucky people. They'll always display, even if they're hiding other things or they're going through things, you're going to see there's still going to be that sunny glow about them. They're highly expressive, so anything that they're feeling or they're going through, they're going to put it out there. They can be very creative and you really value your creative abilities and respect them. And because of that, you really put your creative pursuits out there into the world. Whereas somebody else might have a different Ascendant but have Leo, they might hide it. But you, because it's in your first house, Leo, you're just like, hey, this is important and I'm gonna put it out there. You really put your creative talents, whatever they may be, you put them out there into the world. Remember that your Ascendant doesn't necessarily mean the things that you're going to be into, but it's going to show you how you're going to behave, how you're going to present yourself. Keep that in mind. You're always going to seem confident, Leo, because Leo rising people being ruled by the sun, the sign of Leo has this regal air about it and they have this authority to them that is just innate. It's not like they're trying to be authoritative, but they have that authority to them so they can be a little bit bossy and they just feel that they can do what they want because it just comes naturally to them. So they really don't like to follow the rules. They feel like the rules don't really apply because they are just very confident in what they're doing that they're not gonna listen to just like suggestions, but the rules are just suggestions to Leo and they're not gonna listen to those suggestions anyway. And lastly, you can be a little bit dramatic, Leo, and that's because you like to be the center of attention, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I think it's really endearing. I really like Leo raising people on Leo's period because it's just very lighthearted. You're not doing it in a negative sense, you just like to put on a show. And you're a bit of a performer, Leo rising. And you're probably sick and tired of people calling you dramatic, so I'm gonna cut it off. no more about the dramatics. That spacesuit that you got put on by your family when you were growing up, that was preparing you for your environment, you left all of that Cancer behind, and so you're here to put yourself forward and to put yourself forward boldly and really express whatever it is that is coming from your sun. So that's a really special placement because there's a connection between your sun and your ascendant that other people don't have. That's why you find it so easy and so necessary for you to express the things that are important to you, because it's connected between your sun and your ascendant, and that's really cool. I really appreciate that placement. This doesn't mean that you might not have insecurities, especially if you have Cancer energy aside from your Leo rising. You might have insecurities, but these insecurities, they stay like in the back corners of your mind, in the psyche, in the 12th house. You aren't going to present those things. So let's just say you might have some Cancer planets in the 12th house. You are going to have that Cancer sensitivity, but you're not going to show it. So that's a little tricky placement. I'll be making a video about that later, about 12th housers, but that's tricky energy. Leo's spacesuit is very bold and unique, and not unique in a weird sort of way, but Leo really likes to do things that other people don't do, and it's all because they want to be the center of attention, like the sun. So if you see somebody wearing extremely bold things, and not like jarringly bold, not like an Aquarius, and I find it very interesting that Aquarius and Leo are supposed to be opposite, but they both like to be different. Leo does it to be the center of attention. Aquarius does it more to be just like different and not look like everybody else. But Leo at the same time doesn't like looking like everybody else, because you're just like, nobody could be like me. And I agree, Leo, nobody does it quite like Leo. There's something that really reminds me of Leos, and it's the sun card from the tarot, but there's a particular edition that has sunflowers on it. I can't remember which one it is, but sunflowers really remind me of Leo rising, because it's something that's found in nature, and it's just so beautiful and radiant, and it's just so eye-catching. Look, think of how unique and eye-catching a sunflower is. They're huge and they look nothing like the other flowers. So we've already talked about the ascendant being kind of like a spacesuit that you wear to protect yourself in your environment. But your ascendant is also like a filter that goes over all your other planets and really modifies the way that they're expressed. So you're expressing all your planets from that first house, and people are seeing you from that 7th house. So the lens that covers the planets for Leo rising is this very like golden hour lens that gets covered. So there's always an air of just glamour that is applied to Leo rising people. And that is the way that they see the world and the way that the world sees them. So the world sees you from the 7th house. We see Leo rising people and we're just like, that person is touched by like that golden light. They look good, they look happy, and they just look so put together in a really just adorned sort of way. It's very beautiful the way that they put themselves together, and very unique and different and eye-catching. But the way that Leo sees the world from that lens is, I feel that Leo looks out in the world and sees a spotlight on them, and they're just like, I'm just here to be performing and to be myself and to express whatever it is that my chart has to express. Remember that what you're going to express, Leo rising, really depends on the way that your chart is configured, whether you have a stellium somewhere else or you have certain planets configured in a certain way. Those are the things that you're going to want to express. And it also depends on your sun sign, because remember that your sun sign is related to your ascendant, because your ascendant is ruled by the sun. So nonetheless, you see the world and you're just like, everyone's paying attention to me, so I have to express myself because everyone's looking at me. You just have to figure out what you want to express and actually go on your stage and do it. I also think that one of the reasons why Leo rising is so captivating to the rest of us, to like the audience, is because no one shows more self-love than a Leo rising. And I will say shows more self-love, because granted, yes, you could have some underlying issues of insecurity and all of that, and that's true. We all have insecurities. Even a Leo rising, even a purely Leo person is going to have insecurities. But for the rest of us, seeing you from the audience, we're just like, wow, like that looks so good. To love yourself that much looks so good, because we all know inherently that we're supposed to love ourselves and respect ourselves and really value ourselves. But when we see a Leo rising, we see what that looks like. So we're just like, man, like that's how I would be if I took myself seriously, if I respected myself, if I put myself on a pedestal. You know how some people put others on a pedestal? Leo rising puts themselves on a pedestal and really lives up to those expectations because they know no other way but excellence. That is just the Leo way. And it must be hard, Leo, but at the same time, it's not like a Virgo, like you're trying too hard. It's just innate. And if you're a Virgo Leo person, like Beyonce, you're Beyonce. Like, what else can I say? I can always spot Leo rising people. That is one of those rising signs that is very easy to see. They also often have very beautiful hair. It's kind of like their crown. Leo rising people, my mom has amazing hair and she's in her 60s and she has a thick, beautiful head of hair. So now let's talk about your descendant and your relationship needs, Leo. So as I was saying, Leo is pretty much the performer on the stage and Aquarius is the audience. Aquarius, being the masses of people, social groups, are really watching Leo in that first house. So in your relationships, in the 7th house, represented by the 7th house, Leo really puts all the things that are Aquarian and the things that are not Leo. So all of the behaviors that you don't like in yourself and that you suppress and you kind of project on others, that's what you put in the 7th house. And really when you're in relationships, you're able to explore those feelings in a very comfortable way. And you're able to display those feelings and you like for people to display those feelings on you. So when you are in relationships, Leo, you really get to be one of us. You don't have to put on that show and be perfect, and not perfect in a Virgo sense. You just don't have to be all of that you are, Leo. In relationships, you get to be just like one of the guys. You get to be one of the pals, and you can maybe just relax a little bit on your physical appearance perhaps and be more open to just being a regular person, Leo, and know that you're going to be appreciated despite not being, you know, with your Leo light on. Aquarius is also a very accepting sign and they accept pretty much everyone. So that's what I mean. Like, you don't have to be so Leo. You can turn it off and just relax yourself and know that you're going to be accepted no matter what. So that's the kind of vibe that you get to explore in relationships. You don't have to be on all the time and you get to rest from that position where you are the rest of your life. So now I'm gonna get into the celebrity for Leo rising. And I absolutely love Tyler, the Creator, and I think it's really amazing that his name is Tyler, the Creator, because he is so creative. I'm gonna pop up his chart. Yeah, he has that beautiful Leo rising. He's actually a Pisces sun, so it's really beautiful. Pisces Leo energy is just magical. It really reminds me of the Magician in the tarot deck. But yeah, so the reason why I chose him to be the Leo representative is because he is a very creative person, and you might be a very creative person too, Leo rising, but him, like, it's innate. Like, he has that Pisces creativity and that Mars and Gemini drive to make it happen, and that depth, that Scorpio moon depth. And he had all of that creativity in him, but he had the respect in himself to actually put it out into the world and the confidence to put it out into the world. And that is something that is very important, because you could be like a closeted 12th house artist and not put it out in the world. Imagine if you have a Leo in the 12th house and you have all of that there, but you're rising Virgo and you're very critical of yourself and others, so you don't really want to put yourself out there. But if you have a beautiful Leo rising, you're going to have confidence in what you're doing and you're just going to put it out there. And the thing with Leo rising is it could be the ugliest thing and they're still going to put it out there and you guys don't care. But the thing is that 9 out of 10 times, maybe that 10th time, maybe somebody's going to be like, hey, like, that's pretty special. What you put out there is pretty special. And that's really what people have to learn from Leo rising, to just put themselves out there, because you never know what thing that you're gonna make is going to end up being a success. And for Leo rising people, it's really like they have that blessing that they're able to put themselves out there without being so self-conscious. And that's really beautiful. But he's like a comedian. He had a show where he put together all these comedy skits, and it's really hilarious. He's also an artist, so he writes his own music and he performs it. And if you look at his performances, they're always very elaborate, and they're very creative. They're very creative, and you could see also some of that Pisces energy, because remember that your ascendant is just going to show you how you're going to get to maybe your midheaven goals or your sun goals. And for him, his sun is actually in Pisces. So there's that dreaminess element there too. And he also has a fashion line. Like, look at this. And it's very creative stuff, but it's not only creative, but it's also stuff that he would wear. And that's like very Leo, you know, to think that the way that you dress is so special that other people might want to dress that way too. That is such a Leo rising thing. And Leo rising people have a very distinct way of dressing. So I think that is very indicative of his Leo rising. And if you just look at the way that he performs and the way that he carries himself, he's very confident in the things that he's doing and that he's saying. So that is a really good example of a Leo rising. But somebody who has a Leo rising, so they're taking themselves seriously and they're respecting whatever goals it is that they have, with a Pisces sun. So his dreams were really, his aspirations were fantastical. You know, Pisces, it's very dreamy. He had these dreams, and Leo rising allowed him to respect those dreams enough to really pursue them. And really, that self-respect is the most beautiful thing, I think, of rising Leo. They really take themselves seriously, and there's a lot of self-love and self-respect that I think all of us can see and admire in them. And that's really what makes them so glowy, that they really love themselves and respect themselves despite any other underlying things that might be in the chart. So that's the video for today, guys. I hope you liked it, Leo. I hope that I did your amazing rising sign justice. If you liked it, make sure you give me a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe to my channel. I put out astrology videos every single week, all weekend long, like Nickelodeon. And I will see you in the next video.